The man of the moment, Mr. Narayana Murthy, Executive Chairman at Infosys, joins us from Bangalore. Mr. Murthy, an absolute pleasure and a delight to have you on ET Now. Mr. Murthy, I know you have largely been an outsider for the last few years. How disappointed you have been with Infosys' performance over the last few years? Suddenly, I'm sure it would bother you to see that Infosys is growing at a run rate which is much lower than the industry average.
I have not been largely outside. I have been totally outside, except for coming here to meet visitors. Second, insofar as the performance of the company is concerned, not just me, Mr. Shubhalal, who is the architect of the future of the company, is as much concerned as any one of us. Therefore, I think the need of the day is for all of us to work together as a team and ensure that we satisfy our own aspirations and satisfy the aspirations of our stakeholders.
Mr. Murthy, hi, morning. In the past, you have defended Infosys' strategy to seek a premium on pricing in a tough environment. Do you now believe that that strategy perhaps has backfired?
It is the job of the management to keep on pushing for higher and higher margins. Otherwise, let's remember, after all, the salespeople are fighting the battle on the terrain. They are being checkmated by competitors to reduce the prices. Everybody is trying to commoditize the stuff. So therefore, in order to bring a balance between what's happening on the ground and what the company desires, the management has to coax the sales force to improve the margins. That's one. Second, even in areas where it is easy to commoditize, as it happens in certain cases, there is an adage, and that is the price is determined by the market and the cost is determined by the company. Therefore, there should be a focus on improving the margins even in commoditized areas by reducing the cost of operation and thereby improving the margin. So these are well understood principles. I am not saying anything new.
Right. Mr. Murthy, you said that you would, or you had indicated earlier that you would never make a comeback, and that too in an executive role. On hindsight, do you believe the company has got its leadership transition completely wrong?
No, I wouldn't say that. You know, I stepped down from my CEO position in 2002. I was the executive chairman till 2006. All that, what's the difference between a non-executive chairman and an executive chairman? The difference is that the executive chairman comes to the office every day. He is part of discussions of the various groups of the company. He is an active participant in adding value to ideas, in critiquing ideas, in persuading others to change, etc., etc. In other words, he is a full-time member of the team that decides the important issues of the company. And because it requires full-time participation, one becomes an executive chairman. That's all there is to it, nothing else.
Right. Mr. Murthy, don't you think that it's unfortunate that Mr. Kamath has to go as the non-executive chairman and had to step down and take responsibility for the failure of the executive management?
My respect and admiration for Mr. K.V. Kamath goes up even a notch higher. This person, when the board realized that there is need to provide whatever value that Mr. Shibulal requires, and to bring me in, he put his own interest behind that of the interest of the company. This is an extraordinary example of altruism. This is an extraordinary example of putting the interest of the company ahead of his personal interest. Therefore, I once again salute Mr. K.V. Kamath.
So how would you rate Shibulal's performance as a CEO when you compare him with Chris and Nandan? I mean, clearly the market believes he hasn't delivered.
First of all, as I pointed out earlier when I spoke, it is not proper for me to pronounce on important issues without proper study. That's not the way I have been brought up. Therefore, I have to spend time, I have to understand the various aspects of the company's strategy and company's execution of its strategy, and then I can point out, what needs to be changed, what needs to be continued. And the second, as I pointed out earlier when I was speaking, there are several cases where a CEO who is truly extraordinary puts in place several aspects of strategy, but their impact, their results will be seen much later. So therefore, I don't want to judge anybody in a hurry, in a jiffy.
Mr. Murthy, what will be the exact role of your son Rohan Murthy? You have inducted him in the chairman's office. In the past, you have indicated that Infosys is not a family-run business. Is Rohan Murthy now being groomed for a larger role?
First of all, let me say that Rohan has done a first-class PhD. He has had fellowships at MIT, at Caltech, at Harvard, at Microsoft Research. I mean, these are truly extraordinary achievements. His role is to be my executive assistant, to help me become more effective. That's all what I would worry at this point of time.
So what is your message, Mr. Murthy, to shareholders? Because Infosys has been a wealth creator over the years, but they have been let down in the last few years or so. At the stock price, or rather, does the stock price right now tell the story?
I will have to make a detailed study before I come out with any specific answer. However, as I have pointed out in the past, our task is to satisfy our customers, make sure that our employees are enthusiastic and energetic, follow the finest principles of transparency and governance with investors, and bring value to other stakeholders. Thereby, at the end of the day, our investors will be happy. So that will have to be our strategy.
Right, Mr. Murthy, really appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us.